Hello and welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and a cautionary tale. I have a series of these videos that over time I've collected quite a few of these instances. So here's a situation where a customer purchased a bike online and wanted to save a few bucks and assembled it himself. It looks like it's going to be a gift with the step through, which is not always a gender specific thing, but it's got a step through and it's got a nice pink kind of almost a Pepto-Bismol color, but that's not a bad thing. Nice basket and stuff. So it's possible that he couldn't find this bike in a bike shop for $200. So he purchases the bike and he assembles it himself. Now, a couple of things, as you can see that derailleur, but we're going to get to that in a minute. The handlebars were installed in the point where you could see that this, is it a shift cable? No, it's the brake cable. This brake cable is, routed incorrectly. So when he put this in, didn't notice that this cable had a nice little bow to it, so this one should have had a bow on the other side. So that's installed incorrectly. So that's obviously a safety hazard, just because when you pull on this handlebar, it's going to pull on that cable and activate the brake. So that's not safe. The second thing is, these brakes, which are not my favorite brakes because they have this is a plastic piece here, they need to be adjusted. And one of the complaints he had about the rear derailleur, which we will get to in a minute, is that the main knuckle was plastic. And I'm like, well, this is a $200 bike. I mean, you have to expect that the stuff you're going to get is at the lowest cost possible to achieve that price point. And so we have an issue here with adjusting these brakes. The wheels are out of true, so that's a build quality issue. But now let's talk about this rear derailleur, because this is where it all comes down. So this rear derailleur, I believe that this is an integrated hanger. This is called a claw setup, and I'll show you what it looks like on the new rear derailleur. But this is all one assembly, so there's no derailleur hanger on the frame, right? It gets bolted to the axle bolt. But I believe that this was bent, possibly shipping damage. So it was bent in the box. He goes out to ride the bike, and you can see the damage here on this plastic spoke protector. So what I believe happened is that hanger was bent in shipping, goes out to test ride, gets into the last couple of climbing cogs, and then the wheel eats the bottom cage of the derailleur, and it just mangled it, right? So imagine what it would do to your fingers if you're doing service on a bike and you are distracted for a moment. All right, so now let's look at a new one. Now keep in mind that this bike was purchased online, and possibly the component makeup of this bike is probably, $1 here and $1 there and $1 here. So this Tourney rear derailleur is a 2 series. 21B, right? And luckily it also has it there. Well, I can't get these derailleurs from, let's say, QBP, which is the largest distributor for bike shops. So the only thing I can get is a 300 series derailleur, and there's the claw, so you can see how that goes in there like that. So, but at this price point, you still are only going to get a plastic knuckle, main knuckle here. And I tried to explain to the customer, and I hope he finally understands now, that at this price point, most of these parts are going to be with just inexpensive metal. Nothing is thick or reinforced, and in this case, a plastic mainspring here, right? So you just can't get away from that until you start to spend more money. So I believe that this is a part, this 21B is a part that's only available for OE manufacturers. Oops, sorry, that's upside down. So for frame, for bicycle manufacturers, and they buy those probably at $1 each, and then he has to spend more money to get one of these because I can't get the ones that are supplied. These are made in China, so the nicer Shimano stuff is going to be made in Japan, right? So that's what we're going to have to do to this one. Now, the good news is this should just be install, and should be able to save the cable because it's brand new, and minimize some of his costs there, and then figure out what to do with these brakes because the wheels are out of true, and that's, you know, $20 per wheel to true it, and you know, so in the end the services on this could turn out to be more than than the bike purchase, right? If you just try to optimize everything. So that's why also, like family bike shop, that's what they do all day long. They have these bikes, hundreds of them on their lot, and they've got, you know, many mechanics that just go in there and, you know, true your wheels, $5, $10, leave them a tip in the jar, and then you're off and running. But in this store, in this you know, based on the workflow that I have, you know, this working on this bike and only charging $10 or $5 for this or that, I'm leaving money on the table because there's 4 or 5 other bikes that are $800, $400, $500 jobs. I gotta get to them. So it's just a challenge of the bike industry anyway, in most shops, by the way. But that's what we're going to do to this bike, and hopefully everything works as planned. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. And again, cautionary tale: support your local bike shop, maybe from inception when you purchase the bike. If you go to build up your bike from a box, support your local bike shop. They're going to find a lot of things that, if you're not mechanically inclined, you might damage or you may not notice. Oh, one last thing before we go. There are many times I have seen beach cruisers that have been assembled at home with this fork on backwards. Fortunately, this one has a basket and a fender, so it's hard to do this one backwards. But I've seen that quite a bit. So anyway, just one last thought that came to mind. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you up the road.